So I think it'll be very interesting for people listening to this who may be struggling with automation or trying to actually make it effective and efficient. If you were question to each of you really, sort of list the things that you think you need to get in place beforehand and actually sort of consider what needs to be done to actually make automation successful. What would those lists look like? And I'll throw that over to the floor. It'd be great to hear from both of you.
Uh, for me, I think it's you can't run before you can walk. So you need to actually understand where you are in your own testing capability and the maturity of that. A lot of our success has been underpinned by the scripts that we had done for manual testing purposes, and that was properly understanding the separation of system testing, system integration testing, and UAT, and where this would all be applicable, and then determining out of those test cases which could be automated, which partially automated, which couldn't be automated at all, because there'll always be a chunk we found that has to be run manually. Once you've got that sorted, and if you're not sure what you're doing, it's always useful to get some expert advice on that. But once you've got that in place, that then allows you to look at the systems that you want to automate.
Yeah.
But there's probably something here as well. It is an investment, and you have to be sure that there's a return on it. So with our core housing system, no question at all, because we're putting updates on it several times a year, and the risk around it is significant. So this will be a huge benefit, and really will. You can write the business case to say this is the amount of resource days we will save, which will then be available for working on other projects. Where it might not be so appropriate is if you're doing one-off implementations, or the upgrade cycle is either very small or it's very long term. So a lot of it for me is about looking at the business case, realizing how you can bring those benefits in, both in terms of resources and managing your risk.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
good. Benga?
Yeah, if I just may add to what Michael said, because pretty much cover everything there, to be honest. Yeah, just to add to that, when you considering automation, it has to be where continuous testing is important. So where you know, in an environment where you always have to constantly test, and volume is also very important because you will have to be able to assess the value that you're going to get from, because automation can be it could be a sort of expensive journey depending on how much of automation you're doing, but there's a cost to it, you see, how much small or large it is. So you have to wait to see, is it worth automating this test? Is there some element of continuous testing that is really required? And as Michael said, your test cases must be in such a state that they are ready, they are mature enough for automation. So first step is make sure you have them reviewed and make sure you have them all well up to date. Make sure that your test data are also relevant and applicable. It might also require you have a dedicated environment for automation. It could be just a server somewhere, a box somewhere that it needs to have its own place, really, to be honest. Depending on the environment as well, it could be you have certain tools in place that you also have to, connect your pipelines and, link that to your automation and all that. And then the tool you use as well, like I said earlier, has to be relevant to your infrastructure and environment. You have to choose wisely.
Okay, that sounds terrific. Okay. Well, that's great, gentlemen. Thank you. It's very much appreciated for your time and your thoughts on the subject of test automation. As I say, I think this will be of great interest to our audience. And good luck for your programs and projects in the future.
Thanks, Rich. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rich.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.